Okay, so in this video, I'll show you some improvements you can make to your resume projects, which will hopefully make them stand out to recruiters. I'm going to be using one of my previous projects as an example. So as you can see over here, one thing that I've included is tests. Now, most people usually don't bother with making unit tests, but I have had interviews where I've been asked if I've done unit testing before. So that's why I think unit testing is very important to include. And as you can see over here, this code basically tests out the functionality of my application in here. Another thing you've probably noticed is I've got a Docker file, and this is because I've containerized my application, which makes it easy to run for an engineer. Now, most people don't bother with this, so if you do include Dockerization, then it will help you stand out compared to other projects. And also in the README, you can see that the documentation is really good. It's really clear how to set up the environment, and it tells you everything you need to know about this project with the introduction, prerequisites, and everything. Now, most people don't bother with this, and I'll give you an example of what my previous projects looked like. One sec. Yeah, so like this is what my documentation used to look like before. And if a recruiter is looking at something like this, then they won't be very impressed and they'll probably be bored. But if they see something like this, then they'll be impressed because most people don't take the time to write out documentation. Also, another thing which you can do is deploy your application. Now, there are tons of free hosting services, so deploying your application will allow the recruiter to actually use what you've made. As you can see, you can download exe file and then run the application. So that's something that you can also consider potentially. For a more detailed explanation, please check out my article over here, Hashnode. This will basically explain everything in more detail on the different things to include and what you can do. I will be including this in the description.